this is my second Hobonichi. My first was gifted to me by my sister last summer, and I loved it and immediately bought another one when they came out in September. So this is not my second full year using Hobonichi, but my second Hobonichi that I've used. I like to collage my covers, so I have stickers from my sister. This is from a greeting card. I love this color red. A Jewish prayer that I tore out of a book. And this is an art print from Lee Ellickson Art. I love her use of color. Vintage family photo.
Mama, can you wake up?
This is a vintage family photo where everybody's climbed into a tree. I think it's so fun. And then just some other ephemera. I love this vintage children's book illustration of this old cast iron stove. Various stickers, note from my best friend. I never used this index page for anything, but I use the fertility awareness method for fertility tracking. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing from now on, charting my waking temps this direction, color coding within the bar. I never really made my monthly pages look nice. I initially was going to do memory verses in this column, but it's not a page I often come back to, so it just wasn't practical to have memory verses there. Very sloppy and scribbly, but it served its purpose. This isn't memory keeping for me, this is just me writing down what's happening in the future so that I can plan and not double book things. And then for my weekly spreads, I originally was using them for biblical copywork. I would have a prayer here, and then I think I was just using whatever featured verse was on my Bible app. I was using the Tree of Life version. It's the TLV Bible app. Had a featured verse every day, and I was just using that most of the time. And then I fell off of that, and I eventually started using my weekly spreads the way I had used them in my first Hobonichi. I had been using them with a key on the left-hand side, and then just planning my days. A lot of my planning is around homemaking related tasks, like washing cloth diapers and like what we're having that night for dinner, meal planning, grocery shopping, going to the market. I started using or trying to do habit trackers. Most of the time I abandon my habit trackers, so I don't know why I keep trying. They're not incredibly helpful for me, but I think I just like how they look. And I do like when I have stickers that kind of match the theme for that week. The colors I use are just Tombow markers with all of the color names rubbed off because I use them so often, but that's what I use for my dots and my keys. And this is this week, and this is the most pleased I've been with the look of a weekly spread. I have my key, I have my floating tasks, I have a habit tracker that I have not yet abandoned, and then meal plan, what we're doing, and then I've been using the bottom for copy work and doing smaller chunks of scripture at the bottom. I write down things that I need to prep for a meal or things to pull from the freezer, things that we're going to eat or that are on the meal plan. The dark green is things that I need to do or chores. The blue is places we need to go or errands to run. And the purple is things that to me feel like play or social things that I have planned. At the beginning of the year, I didn't really do this turning a page to the new year. It's just a thrift store sale schedule. And then I was just copying out some verses and quotes that were resonating with me, but I never even followed through with finishing the page. I just use my monthly pages for like a brain dump of things to do that month. And then I kind of stick with this key. I've got color codes for like creative ideas, things for my vintage shop online, like homemaking, marriage and family, wellness, and special interest. So depending on how organized I am on any given day, I do try to come back to that key. I generally use the left side of this invisible line as my, like, just random notes, things to remember, plans, creative ideas before they escape me. So I guess kind of like a common place, maybe. Just like a place to dump stuff. That's what I mostly do on the left side. And then I do use the to-do list at the top every day. And then to the right of the invisible line is just, I've heard it called micro journaling. It's just bullet points of what I've done that day for memory keeping. My kids write in my journal a lot, so there's lots of evidence of kiddos. The way I use my journals isn't really like a Dear Diary style of journaling. I think because journaling for me is like something that I want my children to be able to look back on and know what our life was like when they were young before they could remember things. So I never really want to write anything that I think would skew their view of someone they know and love, or even their view of me, which maybe sounds vain or pretentious, but I think I just want it to be more like a written scrapbook of memories, more so than me working through messy feelings. Although I thought about getting a different journal to make a place for that. I think that'd be good. I have a micro obsession with sawtooth stars and quilt blocks, even though I don't quilt. This was a best friend's birthday, and this was a fun day. We went to the Glossier store in Seattle and the Elliott Bay Book Company. This was when I picked up knitting for the first time. We had been at Pike Place Market and I bought a ball of sock yarn, and I finally taught myself how to knit, because it's a very practical skill to have, especially when you have kiddos who need socks. So this was the day I knitted my first ever sock. And this was a ball of yarn I bought kind of as a reward for myself, teaching myself how to knit. And this day I got my banjo restrung at a local instrument shop. Most of my spreads are not very organized or like Pinterest worthy, but they're very, very functional and practical. We went to a brewery this day and I got a can of a prickly pear sour ale, and I just thought the label was really sweet. A bagel shop that had amazing branding. I loved it. Howdy Bagel in Tacoma. I ordered a lot of yarn this day. Planned some socks to knit for a friend. A lot of my journal that's not just memory keeping is just planning creative projects. I think I was trying to self-draft a bralette that I thought would be comfortable, planning some new underwear to sew for myself. We bought a couple of our living room chairs this day at a thrift store in a beautiful grandmotherly floral print. A thank you postcard from Lee Ellickson, who does these beautiful art pieces. One of my little sisters was visiting during this. We had a wonderful day laying on a warm rock out in the middle of the lake. Bought some good coffee beans. She helped me test all my pens to find what worked and what didn't. Still lots of children's doodles that I have to work around. A Christy Dawn dress that I ended up buying as a birthday gift for myself. I love it so much, I still wear it. The business card from a wool bed and linens store where I bought a wool pillow that I love. More kid scribbles. Notes on changes to make for a self-drafted tank top. I've been trying to sew a dupe for the Arc tanks. I think that's how you say it. I love their loungewear pieces. I think I always assume that my spreads would look better with stickers, and then every time I do it, I don't really like how it looks. So I think I need to use fewer obscure stickers. My parents are visiting this day, so me and my mom painted some ceramics for Mother's Day. I went to a gift shop. This is the mug after I picked it up. I was very happy with it. Of course I did a sawtooth star motif. This was a brand of scrapbook that we bought that was delivered this day. I've been trying to inch toward analog, so that's just a good way to save family memories when you don't have social media. To-do list, habits to be better at. I was really enjoying using my colored pencils. I think most of these are just Prismacolor Premier in various colors, but I like the gradient of colors and just doodling with them. This was our 4-year anniversary, and a note from my husband about some coffee he'd left in the fridge for me. Some knitting pattern I copied down so I didn't have to keep referencing the pattern online. Lots of colored pencil stars. I think somewhere in July I started leaving a blank row of space between each bullet pointed chunk of text. And I just thought it was more visually appealing. Like, I'm imagining going back and reading this, and I think it's just easier on the eyes when my text is separated up a little bit, and it's much easier to fill a page that way too. Lots of sawtooth stars in July. I have these random meat stickers that you will see on a few pages. They're a little bit, I don't know, they're interesting. I don't know how I feel about them. I've been using them because I have them. But every time I see one, it's not necessarily a pleasant image, just raw meat stickers. Somebody made money off that idea though. Tried to do a folk flower motif here, but lots of ghosting happening with the Tombow markers. I really like looking back on this page because I was dreaming of making this dress. It's the Silver Saga Chloe tank or dress, and I wanted to make it in this green and cream linen gingham from Blackbird Fabrics. And a couple weeks after I drew these and was dreaming about them, both the pattern and the fabrics I wanted went on sale at the same time. So I did buy them both, and I now own this dress in both of these gingham linens, and they're beautiful and I love them, and I wear them almost every day. Another disconcerting raw meat sticker. I really fell off for a few days here. I must have been either really busy or really tired. Probably really tired. Lots of kid scribbles. It'll be sweet to look back on in a few years, the evidence of having little kids, but right now it's just hard for me to look at and appreciate because I feel very protective of my journal. This is probably my favorite spread so far this year, and it's just the last couple days, but I think I like my own doodles more than using stickers. I just like when I feel like I have things to write. So I was writing about a sweater I wanted to make, and a journal to maybe buy for more of a dear diary or like an evening examine style journaling. And I think I want to incorporate more lines for the sake of organizing my thoughts. And this is today. I still haven't journaled the rest of today, but idea to make the Chloe dress from Silver Saga patterns in patchwork from some of my scraps. Yeah, that's how I've been using my Hobonichi cousin. I love it. I will be repurchasing it in the A6 size because I think it'll be a little easier to fill a page every day. And I'm just going to buy the supplement paper books for if I need more space ever. This is my Hobonichi Weeks Mega. The first one that I've purchased. My sister bought me this case as a birthday gift, which was so sweet of her. I'd been keeping my ID and my debit card in here, which is not secure with kids. So she bought me this knowing that I needed it and that I would use it. But this is my Weeks. I love this cover. This is a sticker from Lee Ellickson. This is a milk sticker because I drink a lot of milk. And this is just a piece of a greeting card by Phoebe Wall, who is my favorite children's book illustrator. And I loved the colors. So it was just a bunch of square motifs, I guess. So I just cut it up. Got my tomato sticker and a butter sticker. I don't really use the monthly spreads in here. And this journal is purely for meal planning for me, which as a stay-at-home mom is kind of my job. So I guess you could call this a job planner. I really enjoy meal planning and making grocery lists and grocery shopping and going to the market. I won't flip through every page because they're all very scribbly and very much the same thing. It's just the meals that I have planned for each day. Well, just dinners actually. I only plan supper for each evening. On the left side of this invisible line, I keep a running list of groceries or ingredients that we've run out of that I know that we need, regardless of the meals that I've planned. And then on the right side, after I've planned my meals, I've organized my grocery list by produce, dairy, pantry. I usually don't have a meat section because we do a beef share, but sometimes I do. So lots of scribbly pages. It's kind of fun that we'll have a catalog of every dinner we've eaten over the course of an entire year. And our food choices have evolved quite a bit too. So it's almost like a journal. It's like a food journal, I guess. And then in the back, I've just been using this like a brain dump, I guess. So like creative capture, a thrift list, health and homemaking notes, a reading list, parenting notes, YouTube notes, which I never acted on. I never really started YouTube, but here I am now. Notes for my vintage shop online, seasonal meal ideas. Yeah, and then often my meal planning and grocery lists would overflow to these back pages, or sometimes it's just scraps and doodles of things. An affirmation for myself, a key, a book log that I abandoned. I've read more than one book. Yeah, lots of scribbly things, knitting projects that I wanted to start. More meal plans, grocery lists, brain dumps. This has been a very scribbly space for me. But I think I've settled on repurchasing the Hobonichi Weeks Mega and using the back like a commonplace that is sorted with a color-coded key and kind of like subheadings on the left side. I have knitting projects, my Hobonichi 2026 setup plans, sewing project ideas, road trip meal ideas, things to buy at antique stores. I got a little bit scribbly with it again, but I think I'm going to try to keep it neater in 2026 and more organized and more of my commonplace journal. And I do think that by the end of the year I will have this filled up, especially with how much more I've been using it. But that's how I've been using my Weeks and my cousin. I love them both. I will be buying Hobonichis again. And I love my sister who got me into journaling and stationery and all things beautiful. Love you, Gwenny. Thank you for watching.